Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to my channel if you're on YouTube, my episode if you're on podcast, whichever it is. Always double dipping up in here and embrace life boldly because that's what it's all about. Yeah, I'm a little bit cold today. I've got a big sweater on. I don't know what's going on here in Southern California, but it's chilly wills. And when I say chilly wills, I mean it's like 72 degrees. It's a little cold for us. But hey, welcome back, you guys. This is your intuitive life coach, Tammy Ward. And again, I am an intuitive life coach that uses my gifts to help people gain confidence and clarity. You know, just helping them shift their thoughts, and I love being here to be able to open your consciousness and to be able to expand your thoughts on how to make life a little bit easier, a little bit better. So that way you don't feel like you're drowning all the time, right? I talk about that all the time. Hey, look, today I'm going to go completely off cuff because that's what sometimes I do. I go off cuff. And today's one of those days. I got to get the sweater fixed out right. Anyway, if you're on the podcast, you can't really see it, but I have this beautiful, beautiful sweater on. And it's kind of choking me, so I had to pull it down. Anywho, let's take a breath for a moment, guys. I just want to be present with you. I want you to be present with me. And I really want this topic about what I'm about to talk about really come to light for you. Really have you think about how you're communicating with other people. So I just want to take a breath. Let's be here, whether you're driving, washing dishes, exercising, taking a walk, sitting in a comfy place and just listening. I think that's awesome. And thank you for being here. I want to talk about communication. And I want to ponder the question, is the phrase communication is key the one we should be using? Question mark, question mark. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, communication is a very important aspect in anyone's life. To be able to communicate, to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to share your thoughts and share your concerns and share your feelings and your emotions. Yes, that is absolutely 100% something we should always do. But is it the key? Is it the key thing to making a experience better, right? In the sense of, I think communication is powerful. Absolutely. But I think the key thing is to be able to have that awareness of what you're about to say, where it comes from, the point you're trying to make, and how can it be of service to you and the people you're communicating with. Now, and I know that's a lot to swallow right there. And I just want you to go with me here for a second. Go down this lane with me for just a second, right? In the sense that if somebody is bothering us, right? If somebody makes a comment or makes a body gesture and it triggers us, as a life coach, the one thing I would say is, well, can you express to that person that it bothered you? Can you express to that person? Can you communicate to that person that this happened? This is the experience you experienced, and this is how it made you feel, right? Period. Amen. And most of the time, most people say no because it's that conflict, right? They're not sure of how to be able to communicate without emotion. They try to learn how to communicate without that anxiety and fear of how they're going to be perceived, right? That's usually the number one thing that most of my clients and me and myself, I've done that too. And that's why I don't know if communication is the key. I think it's extremely important. I think it's extremely powerful. But I think the key is when we as individuals, as self, can understand where we're coming from, why it hits us that way. And I want to give you an example about a situation that happened with me and my wife. We were talking about how a person in our life had triggered us, and mostly my wife. And it's about like, my wife is going on and she's talking about how, I just wish that this person would just like, hey, like, don't come at me like that, right? Don't come at me with this news and information, right? Give me the news and information, but don't come at me like it's something new, right? This is plain and simple. This is how it is. This is the frustration in life, and we're trying to deal with it the best way we can. And I know this all sounds bland, but I just want to keep everybody's privacy with love and light. And, I didn't have permission to tell this story from my wife. So I'm trying to be as bland as possible. And anyway, so basically what it was is, I'm listening to my wife and she's going on and she's venting and she's complaining and she's working through the process of what has bothered her. And I was asking, I came at her from a place of, a coach in the moment, right? I listened to her, and I told her I was going to come out with her with a coach, and so, I simply said, is it what this person said truly what bothers you, or is there some underlying things that trigger this feeling that you're experiencing? And of course, it was underlying things. It was frustration of other things that my wife had endured younger in her life, and so that trigger came up front and she needed to vent about it. And I had asked, okay, well, could you be able to have a conversation and to communicate with this person about everything that goes on? I said, because now that you know where it comes from, now that you know where it stems from, you're able to have a better way of communicating, because you can come at it in a sense of, and guys, listen, if you don't know my wife, she cannot stand conflict, right? It's so hard for her to like, even like express how she feels in some ways, because she doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings, right? I mean, she's just a sweet, loving person, and she just doesn't like conflict, like the most of us, right? Who enjoys conflict, but myself. But anyway, so after we broke down like where a lot of the triggers were coming from and how she really felt about something, she felt more comfortable to communicate with this person, because now she had a better understanding of herself. And so it helped, it made me understand in that moment that sometimes we come from a way of communication as not knowing really what we truly need or want in that moment. So what is the point we're trying to get across? Is it that we just need to be heard, or is it that we just need something to stop, right? And my wife needs something to stop, right? She needs this person not to come at her so forcefully. And, and again, as you guys know, we have to tell people how to treat us, right? We have to tell people how to love us. We have to tell people how to be towards us if we want a loving, lasting relationship with other people. And so I told my wife, there's so many times in life where we have to get uncomfortable to become comfortable. And I say that with the deepest of heart, in the sense that we truly have to understand why we desire something so deeply to be able to communicate it. So let's give, for an example, that was one example with my wife, and it was kind of bland. So I'm going to give you another example. Let's go, for example, you have a huge fight with your partner or child or coworker or however that might be. And in that moment, words are said, body language is thrown out, words are not said, expressions are given, anger sets in, fear sets in, the right and wrong set in, and that's a form of communication. And so it's not the key point in that part, right? That's not the key point, because you're communicating, but you're doing the wrong kind of communicating, right? You're not communicating from your most authentic self. You're not communicating from your true higher self. You're just communicating from emotions and feelings. And so communication is not the key. The key is to understand where it all comes from. The key is to know, what is it that I need in this moment? What is it? How can I get uncomfortable to become comfortable to have an open conversation, an open communication? How can I slow my breath? How can I go from this escalated environment to a slower one, so that way we can both be heard, right? That is the key. That right there is the key. Okay. And then from there, communication can flow. From there, love can flow. From there, being of service to both people can flow. It just will simply flow. And so I want to ask you, I want to challenge you, going into what today is Thursday, I think. Friday. No, today's Friday. Happy Friday. I want you to go into this weekend and possibly next week and think about anytime you come across a situation where you're having a conversation with someone, you feel like it might be getting out of hand, or you feel like you're not being heard, or maybe they're not being heard, or you just feel like you're being attacked all the time. And I want you to understand that to be able to have that proper communication, that powerful communication, is to be able to have that key force of awareness within yourself of what you really need from this conversation, what you really desire, what will really help you. And I know we're talking just about you right now, but we got to also think about the other person. Sometimes we say, okay, this is how, this is, and again, I just have to put this out there. Please, 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 don't say this is how I'm feeling or you're making me feel this way. None of that is happening. Both of you are experiencing feelings and emotions. So if you can, shift your words to be able to say, I am experiencing anger right now, and I would really like to discuss that with you. Right? Because that can shift the whole conversation, and that can be an open communication. And sometimes it can get so intimate that it opens up so many layers and doors for you to have a better relationship with whomever you want to have a relationship with, right? And perhaps it's a good time to even communication can flow so well that you could actually set boundaries together and be okay. But that's a whole other podcast. Boundaries is a whole other podcast that I got to get going on with. But you see, that's the key. The key is knowing exactly what it is, because again, with the story with my wife, she wasn't frustrated at this person. What she was frustrated with was the approach, right? And so she wasn't frustrated about what she was hearing. She was frustrated because what she hears, she knows is the truth, and it's hard for her to hear it. You know what I mean? And so think about yourself in those situations. Think about when you're communicating. And if there's layers and layers of past negative experiences and moments and times that you've had with this other person that you're having a conversation with, maybe now's the time to bring that to the forefront. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Get uncomfortable to become comfortable, whatever. Comfortable, right? And so that's what I think that's really what communication is. It's not that it's the key to everything. It's just that it's the power outlet. It's the switch that can turn things on, right? But the key is for you to just take a second and truly know how you want the conversation to go, what you need to come to the forefront, and how you can be of service to both people in the conversation, or multiple people, whomever, if it's a group of people. But yeah, that's my jam today. That's what I wanted to chat about today. That's what I wanted to bring to the forefront today on this Friday. And yeah, is communication the key? I don't think so. I think it's powerful, but I think the key is, again, for you to know what you want from a conversation, and know, I think a lot of times there's so many times where we will bring past experiences into the conversation. So that way, how we felt last week and didn't say anything about a certain topic that is being brought up at the same time again in a different moments. We bring that energy with us. We bring the energy from that past experience to the one that's in the present moment. And that can hurt us as well. So the key also there is to know, you just not do that, right? That was in the past. It's done. I think that's the greatest lesson my father could have ever taught me, was the past is in the past. There's no reason to look back at it. And I wish I would have got it earlier, besides of going through 30 years of not understanding. But yeah, don't bring the past into the present conversation. You can bring experiences and feelings into it. It's as long as you express that to the person, and most definitely to yourself when you're having it. And that's what's up. So guys, look, I would love to hear your comments about this. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. Please put them in the comments below. and please share this podcast if you and this YouTube video, if you think this was like, you know, something that other people need to hear, or maybe this, having someone else listen to this video with you or episode with you, you can then begin a conversation, right? And if you're looking for a little bit more clarity and a little bit more confidence in having communication with others, please DM me, get a hold of me, coach-tammy.com or Coach Tammy Ward@gmail.com. Guys, email me, check a look at my website, get a hold of me. I'd be more than happy to get a free consult going and having this conversation with you. It is my mission in life to serve others, and I think that if we all can communicate better in this world, the better the world will turn. And that's what's up. Okay, guys, until next time, keep loving, keep growing, and keep embracing life boldly.